When the tears are over, the tears begin. From there is not something inside of us which loves so deeply, it is us. All we touch dissolves, like the scent of summer winds across the desert. Sage blossoms heavy with dew arch over the sands, dance with their shadows that flow across the path as your feet dissolve. No hands can hold the dance of life. Our hands cannot hold even emptiness. They cannot hold themselves. The past is a river of echoes, painted on a waterfall of tears, memories sliding into a bottomless treasure chest. The present a kiss between what never happened and what never will. Future is dreams painted on a window, bleeding in the rain. Clouds seem to part. Sunset beckons with its silent song. Rain plays tabla on the roof, slowing to a hush, then exploding. Love song of the night needs no words, cannot be contained. Nothing can be held when there are no hands to hold the rain. Water in water, a fluid painting of this room reflects in the window. My face appears to be looking into the dark. It sees itself looking back. Wherever I look, simply this inescapable fluidity, and yet jewels everywhere, sparkling. Ah, these liquid eyes that ceased looking for a place to rest, or a harbor on this edgeless sea. Shadow bird waits on the fence to dive into her own shadow and release her tears into the night. Night melts into dawn, dawn into day. Who can resist the light? Fire of ancient shadows, rainbow of flame, burns its own beauty from the center out, until there is no out or in. Scent of summer hides in the fallen leaves, falls off your fingertips, plays in the grasses. The autumn winds. And when you walk through love's door, you see your own face, weeping and smiling, and saying, I love you, and you realize you never left. The small shoot, the tiny bud, the flower and its wilting, and all those tears, were always love, recognizing itself through your beautiful, beautiful eyes. How many nights did I lay on a bed of nails, my bones, my blood, my heart breaking, crying out, howling at the moon I could not see or hear, waiting for an echo, a sign of someone, something that could fill in the brokenness, waiting for dawn, for at least a shadow, a glimmer, of someone who still wandered the earth, of someone who had solidity, of a someone who could gather the day, waiting for the night to end, wondering if it would. I did not know I was losing my world, mourning my own demise. I could not end the deep, deep sorrow and heightened terror, nor did I try. As I lay my head in the darkness, I fell through the pillow, and the bed, and the floor, and the ground. I fell through my own shadow. Shards of night pierced my reflection, erasing all light. I heard my echo in the deepest, darkest agony, weeping. When the tears are over, the tears begin. Darkness bleeds through you as you look for the light. This ache for the dawn carries your feet across the desert. Under the stars, glistening sands, footprints gently erased by hot winds. Is it your breath, your footprints, this starlight you long for? That last signpost has toppled. The last treasure map, folded and unfolded countless times, crumbled in your hands. These very words Sear a knowing in your heart. Nothing has been lost. Nothing has been gained. There was never anything to attain. Walking in circles seemed to incise your name in the desert dream, pulling the noose tighter and tighter. You have always danced between light and darkness, between knowing and unknowing, between love and this edgelessness where you do not exist. All the love you longed for is knowing there is nowhere to go, no one who wanders, that this beautiful longing you wished to escape paints your silhouette with starlight. Without it, you are not. All things exist only in the naming of them. It is not that the name is not the thing, like there is an unnamed thing just waiting for a name. It is that the name is the thing. All separation is imaginary, and the imaginary lines are drawn by shared, learned words. Knowing and feeling that all separation is imaginary, no separate things or moments or events or selves, feeling this delicious, seamless ease, looking through these liquid eyes, is enlightenment. This throbbing is the blood of our aliveness, this ache of deep, deep sorrow, of overwhelming joy and bliss, of grief, of love and love lost, dancing at midnight, weeping at dawn, laughing at my shadow, enthralled at the beauty, the wondrousness of it all. It is what I am, having been to the edge of all and everything, losing it all and gaining nothing. I returned, utterly naked, watching these feet that no one wears, these beautiful eyes through which no one sees, these sublime feelings that no one feels, here yet not, a gentle rain of constant awe, these liquid eyes, looking out, looking in. Everyone I meet is myself. I weep. No longing, and I disappear. I see everyone as indescribably beautiful and not broken, even their feelings of brokenness. I love loving so deeply I weep. The love for all and everything, everyone, the day, the night, the cold rain, watching these little letters make words on the screen. I told my dad when we were at the supermarket, waiting in line, how I loved watching people take their groceries out of their carts, and loved watching the checker pick them up and scan them. He said, "Oh, to be simple-minded." But it's like that, simply breathtaking, the heartbreak of it all. Beauty moves through beauty as life, always being born and always dying. The longing is super complete in itself. I watch seekers, some no longer desperate. The meditating calms them, and they love feeling that they are on a path and getting somewhere. As soon as a book is done, they seek out another. Did I love it? I loved copying the texts, and I loved listening to talks. And when the ripping was happening and the pain was excruciating to the point that I felt like I might die, I never tried to stop it. Somehow I knew it was going to be good, didn't know how good. When it was all over and I was suspended as nothingness, it was nothing to write home about. And when the fullness rushed in, I realized here I was, mostly like before, and that self was desire, and that it was beautiful. A sublime emptiness infused with a slipstream of longing that seems to paint this echo-land dreamscape of life, loving life, through these lips, these ears, these eyes, and these tears. I am a transparent, swirling rainbow fabric woven of everyone's stories. This is the story of me, No one wears this beautiful love song. I truly do not exist without you. I love you. I am you. Your very flesh is embroidered with fire, your bones seared, branded with the kiss of love's death. This flowing tapestry of desire consumes you and spits you out, writes its name in your chest. You longed for this union ever since you could remember, but there were never two pieces to join, no words to remember, no syllables to repeat. No special postures or circumstances are required for this conflagration of the known world, the demise of truth and meaning, and anyone who could have a world, anyone who could be confused or not, anyone who could cast her dreams into the midnight sun and wait for a reply. Listen. It is only the echo of your beautiful aloneness that sings your name so sweetly. Love sings your name, and you answer like this. I see you waltzing in love's embrace, in love as love through love, life kissing itself through your lips, seeing itself through your beautiful eyes, feeling its own aliveness, wondrous beyond compare. This flowing garment of broken-hearted beauty that no one wears, it is not yours nor mine, but everyone's song. No one could predict how much this would hurt, to have the hungry wolves of midnight blacken all ideas of darkness. There were endless tears and an eerie howling, such grief, such unbearable mourning of your own demise, the end of all thingness, of everything and nothing, all handholds, all footholds, all lines, all points of reference, all slid into a dark without shadows. Yet here you are, dancing, moonlight swooning through you, reflecting all and everything in your radiant tears, naked, boundless, yet a girl, a woman, singing of light and dark, and the spaciousness of flight. Neither changing nor non-changing, neither moving nor non-moving, infinite spaciousness not separate from the named world of things. There is no source, neither God nor emptiness, nor pure awareness or consciousness. There are no two, nor many, nor one, nor none. Neither this, nor that, nor both, nor neither. There are no reference points whatsoever, yet here we are talking about nothing at all, which has no words, which includes all words. Even nothing and emptiness seem like things when named. Even love seems like a thing. There is no getting out of this flowing cage of words as we are it. There is no outside to the objectified dream of separation, as outside and inside, like all this and that, are mental fabrications like you and me. However, the spider web of words can become transparent, and the knowing feeling of seamless edgelessness can become obvious, always. This truly cannot be caught by the razor of thought and words, yet love seems to work just fine. Still water catches the moonlight, your radiance fills the night, no longer waiting for God or a secret lover to kiss you, to envelop you with a love that will drown you, consume you, burn you. You have known this fire, it pierced every part of your secret being, even your longing to be burned, even your longing for love. It left not even ashes to blow away in the wind. How beautiful to recognize the beauty of recognizing beauty. Wind-free dawn, sunlight spills down the canyon walls. Where did the darkness go? I was hanging by unseen threads, looking for a path through the deep, dark, deep night. I fell through the sides of my face and found no middle, nor other side of darkness. Only a cricket song seemed to stitch together points of light into a tapestry of wonder, but it too lost its foothold and fell into the stars, which had fallen out of their homes. Unraveling, unraveling, there was no hand to grasp the needle as it stabbed my heart again and again, until there was no inside or outside to this song of light and dark. Blood-stained and tattered, I am an ordinary woman who sees all as extraordinary. I cannot see myself, for there is nothing here or there. But when you call my name, it is love singing, and we find each other in the wetness of our eyes, reflections spinning. I get dizzy when I see your beauty. We are echoes whirlpooling, a call and answer love song, sky written, dissolving into its own embrace. I looked for a way that had no path, and tried not to try, to stitch all the words I had passionately read together into a love song that would slay me, pierce my heart forever, until time lost its grasp on nothing, until love stopped my breath and my heart, and wrote its elegant name in the empty spaces, without letters or sounds or symbols, so that I might hear the soundless music that seemed to move me and the stars and paint the endless sky. But when love eviscerated me and skinned me alive, even love ran away. There was not even nothing under the skin. My very nakedness clothed nothing. Not even emptiness was left. There were no stars or anything to move them. There was no sky or mountains to climb. There was no sea to cross. There were no sides, no ground of being, nor anyone to find or lose love. Nothing I had read could prepare me that there were no things, nor anyone to grasp or let go. After the tsunami, I found myself washed ashore, wandering the beaches of a shoreless sea. I can find my footprints in the sand only when there is someone to walk with. All lines in the sand are drawn with sand. Wind blows them away and sails through itself. Life flows through me as me. How utterly amazing that life happens all by itself. Knowing and feeling this, life is like a love song, singing itself through my lips. 1,000 Rivers, from my book, I Am a Flowing Gown of Echoes. Can you hear that distant thunder getting closer? Can you smell the lightning on the faraway mountains? One flash and all and everything is illuminated, burns a hole deep in your heart, where love lies waiting to be born, waiting to be burnt, seared by its own reflection, your reflection, love's echo, your echo, its story, your story. Magically writes itself with these very words, these very thoughts, this very thought stream singing in your skull, blazing its own trail. You are this deep, deep longing, this burning love letter trying to create a path back to itself. But it cannot return. You cannot return. You have never left. There was never anyone home to leave or fill her shadow. No empty shoes to dance along a timeline between birth and death. Can you hear the waves crashing on distant shores, unseen even by moonlight? It is your own echo, your own heart crashing upon death's door. Slowly, slowly, or swiftly, rivers dissolve mountains, ice and wind sculpt the earth, surf breaks down the high, high cliffs. Where are you stand watching your own sunset blooming? Blush of dawn, blush of evening illuminate your tender face, but are never caught by your tears. There are no colors without your eyes. This tender, delicate wetness writes our stories with water in water. There is no between what never happened and what never will. Yet this is where we dance. That razor's edge of hope and fear between birth and death is not twirled along by a ballerina with an umbrella. There is no wind to push her off. There is no horizon between earth and sky. When time collapses, you do too. A ballet of wind and wind, a symphony of light falling through light, spinning, twisting, twirling, dancing, flowing, rushing, roaring, sparkling, pirouette of life in life, death in death. Even the nameless is named in this great dance called life. A runaway train with no source or destination leaves no echo or footprint. The tracks dissolve in their own wake. That there was no train and no conductor and no passenger might illuminate your tears with wonder. Maybe today, maybe tomorrow, or maybe when you are dying. But you are dying, aren't you? Dying to live, dying to love, dying to this very moment that sings you with these very words. Love paints its own echo. It has no substance. It cannot be caught. There is no hand to hold it, no heart that can hold this love, no place to rest, no one to rest on this slippery, shimmering reflection of reflections of reflections of reflections. You know this deeply, but it may seem far too devastating to acknowledge. There is no past, just memories blooming and fading simultaneously. There is no tomorrow, just thoughts of other, better, more, or next. But you have never found a future. You have never found a past. You have never found anything other than just this as it magically appears. Life dances just like this. Can you feel love's heart beating? This on again, off again rhythm. It is not actual. It is only a wisp of a dream falling through its own echo. No one can catch it, bring it to life, or kill it. It breathes and dances only in these words, this thought stream you have tried so hard to get rid of or quiet. This quiescence is the very heart of all words, of all stories. It is your heartbeat, your echo, your love song singing you just like this. Sky Deep in Love from my book Liquid Eyes. When alone, I weep at the beauty. In tears, I weep at the beauty. In love, I weep at the beauty. Golden wings of summer shift and soar in autumn winds. Fire dances. In the storm, rainbows unfurl. What is made of sky? What is not? Is sky made of sky? What about the sun dancing on the waves in love with its own reflection? What lies between the lips and the kiss? Is it love? Can you drink this light that pours into your shadow and erases even love? Letters lose their context. You can no longer stand. You have no feet, you have no hands, you have no face, no mouth, no eyes. You can no longer read missives of love that enchanted you. They were burned on love's pyre that consumed even itself. The day love dies will forever burn in your empty breast. This day is that day. There was rain last night in the full moon. I can hear the finches hanging from the bent sunflowers. Does the sky need an anchor so it won't fly away in the wind? Where does the wind stop and you begin as it caresses your face, as you see the treetops dancing? Is wind separate from the thought of wind? Are you separate from the thought of wind? She longed for the flower of love to burst open her heart, to burn its essence into hers, to brand her as love's true lover. She longed for the kiss of light to erase the dark, where fear and loneliness flourished. She folded words into keys and pushed them under the door, hoping her aloneness would be opened. The walls she felt around her heart wept. She painted her windows with rainbows to hide her nakedness from the garden, yet still the roses and their thorns pierced her tenderness. She sent missives of love into the sky. Each one kept her in a sealed envelope, a paper dream that could not unravel her origami heart. Every day she walked through a garden of flowers, blooming and wilting, petals falling along the path. She walked through endless beauty she could not see. Sun revealed her beauty she could not see. Love's infinitesimal beauty was her longing for love. Nothing can be held in this great wind that sweeps the blood from your veins, the marrow from your bones, and rips your face from your reflection. Nothing is left, no path to walk along, no ground to stand on, no water to sail upon or drown in, no air to breathe, not anyone to hold the clouds that kiss their faces. Sky deep in love. After the birds swam into the day, she held a single feather to decipher the song of the morning, a language she could not forget or remember. She stood on the shore of infinity, longing for her own return. There is no map in this vastness, no safe harbor from the inevitable storm. You know you will drown. There will be no one left to breathe. Your heart will burn. This magnificence will claim even your ashes. And what is left when you've been to the other side of darkness and light? You reappear. You return to this lover's dance, weeping, as this searing brilliance never leaves. Your heart, your life, this love was never yours. Does a mountain long to crumble into the sea? What is this ache we will do anything to resolve? Looking endlessly for a key to a door we cannot see, consuming texts as wide as the ocean, listening at night for the song of the universe, standing on the edge of the precipice of uncertainty, afraid to face the vastness, terrified there is nothing there or here. This torrent of love will wash you away. You will crash on the rocks on the edge of time. A tsunami of hope and fear will build a mountain of words and light the fire. It is certain death to be burnt in this pyre. A great wind will blow away your ashes. They will not gather in the cracks and crevices of knowledge. In the smithy you will be turned into gold, in a world of gold, into light in a world of light, into wind in a world of wind, into sound in a world of sound, into silence in a world of silence. You will sing. Echoland Ballet, from my book Ocean of Love. Wind that was not there blew away the dark, ignited embers of day, unwrapped the prisms of your eyes, unleashing color and sound into this ballet of echoes, ever blooming, ever wilting. Petals of desert flowers pressed into a flowing rosary. There is no prayer that will halt or capture this shimmering mirage. Thin, white fingers of clouds flow through the desert dream. Wind does not push them. They do not move or exist without thought. In this death of yesterdays and all tomorrows, stars lost their handholds as there was no night to cling to, and no empty hand to grasp the flowing. This magician's dream coat has no dreamer. All is sourceless reflections, spinning the daydream as well as the night dream. This watercolored magnificence unties the shadows and light, collapses into itself, leaving not a breath or ripple of wind. Day melts into dusk, hovers on the horizon, ripped with rain. Architecture of trees holding up the sky and stars blooming lace my window. Swirling watercolor wetness slides into wetness, dark into dark. I am a flowing reflection on a mirror without sides. Day sleeps in the heart of night. No one awakens from this echo-land dream. Sailing shadows leak into light. Rustling leaves in autumn wind. Night nestles under wings of dawn. Self is belief in imaginary separation, the belief of belief in the dream. The dream of belief in the dream. As human beings, life is full of deep, deep despair and suffering and unimaginable joy. It is exceedingly painful to believe in the dream of separation, yet not believing it is the dream as well. Trying to change or get rid of or get out of the dream is a most painful part of the dream. Yet the dream character often spends most of their life in this conundrum, solidifying their imaginary walls by trying to erase them, seemingly blocking out the light and the love that is always there. But there is no darkness to erase, no hand nor heart to capture light or love. It is knowing that as imaginary characters, we all share this humanness of great despair and joy, and the knowing of our ultimate aloneness that brings great compassion and an unconditional love. These feelings often begin to arise as we share these great sorrows of illness and death. Awakening is not the end of joy and sorrow and love. It is a merging of the sea and sky and earth, of up and down and in between, of time and timelessness, of all ends and beginnings. And yet, somehow, it is the ever-blooming, ever-wilting kiss within a kiss of loving deeply, unashamedly, the whole shaboogie. We get to feel it all the joy, all the pain. When you suffer, I suffer. How empty the moon, night, without crickets. I am this cascade of thought, memories of long trails of geese, heading south, heading north. What is up? What is down? Is there an in-between? This vacancy cannot find itself. Nothing can be lost or found. Slipping over the edge, there are no edges to be found. Time lost its shadow as it fell into a song. I can no longer find my lips and teeth and tongue mouth the words. The roundness of vowels tumble onto this page, scattered among the consonants, like flesh on bones. The dance begins. Mountain Songs, from my book, Your Infinite, Intimate Embrace. If you hear your heart song, there is no denying it, and you will do anything, anything, anything to bathe in these beautiful waters of home, the nectar of love. Yes, it is the waters of home that you have never left, that you seek, seemingly mudding the waters. It is you, precious, beautiful girl. There is no other, there is no next. Megatears smiling, it has always been you. You have been in love with your own love and emptiness. We are all stories. We are all messages. We are like tap, tap, tap on the prison walls in the darkness, forming words, forming songs, forming moonlight dancing. If you hear your heart song, there is no denying it, and you will do anything, anything to bathe in these beautiful waters of home, the nectar of love. If a sage makes you mad, he's just rattling your cage. All of the foundation of beliefs are holding up what? What would you be without beliefs and preferences? So many think that after the shift we become selfless doormats. But love can look like a butterfly kiss or a lion's roar. Such bittersweet beauty in knowing this is indeed it, that you are indeed alone, utterly and completely. It's like time dies. And the total richness and fullness and lushness of all and everything imploding, exploding into nothing. Knowing we are the dream does not stop the passion, does not end love. The indescribable feeling of this inside-out life, raw, naked, tender, wondrously human, and simultaneously this hyper-awareness of being aware. Full on, unadorned, and we are a brief, shining window of life, tasting, touching, seeing, feeling its own aliveness, and being stunned by its own beauty and mystery. A tear-stained face, shining in smiles, bathed in love. And she slipped whilst she was trying to catch her reflection. It was her love and beauty pulled her in, and the rainbow reflections on the surface echoed on the white sands of the bottomless sea. Not knowing which way was up, she struggled and finally drowned, and all that was left was the breath of stars. You realize your footprints have always been empty, even before your tears filled them and the edges crumbled, and you saw your own reflection, smiling starlight, flooding into and through you as you. Tears flung across the universe, reflecting your beautiful nakedness, exploding, imploding into everywhere and nowhere, simultaneously everything and nothing. Nothing more or less than the great aloneness, weeping at its own beautiful emptiness and mystery. There is no unchanging true self. There is no truth or non-truth. Under these so-called attachments and beliefs, there is not even nothing there. There is no one to be free nor unfree, no one to awaken or not. Awakening does not happen to the person. This is a shift that occurs in the brain. It is an empty prize for no one. The brain sees through its own imaginary net of words and realizes it is all made up. The imaginary character does not go away, as it requires imaginary two-ness to recognize, to feel, to intuit unicity. Yet through open lips we sing, through an open heart love flows, through our wide-awake eyes life sees itself. Without an imaginary space in between us, there can be no kiss, no touch, no space to gaze into each other's eyes. Love requires imaginary separation to flow. Thingness and no-thingness are ideas, like emptiness and fullness and time and non-time. As conceptual beings, we can only see things, and the brain labels the recognition that there are no things, unicity or oneness or seamless edgelessness, and then that label is a concept, pointing to what has no name or non-name, yet can be felt deeply always. It is not a knowing in the conventional sense, as most mistake description for understanding or knowing. This is intuited and can go continuous, when the brain sees through its own charade of separation, and then suddenly, all thingness is suddenly wondrous. We are all stories. We are all messages. We are like tap, tap, tap on the prison walls in the darkness, forming words, forming songs, forming moonlight dancing. And she holds up a treasure and says, "Oh my, how beautiful!" And I am simply a swoon of utter beauty. I am the sun flooding the meadow and delicate petals, lanterned, flowing, waving, adrifting, seas of grasses, and caressing the earth, the sky, the sound of winds in the pines, from near and far, sweeping down the mountain. Oh my, this edgeless, vast, untraceable, glowing, lit from within, from without. Without lines there is no one to be lost or found, and I am their warmth and love and wonder as well as mine. Our breath, our footfalls, our shadows on the rippling, the tender wetness of our eyes, skinless, splendid, measureless, unspeakable, infinite flowing space, filling, overflowing emptiness without time or non-time, this utter enormity of indescribable liquidity, without end or source, traceless light soaring, sweeping through itself, filling me, emptying me. I am the wind and life as they fly through me as me. Without others, I simply cannot find a trace of a song to pretend to tether the wind. This is perhaps why we sing, those of us who have lost their imaginary piece of sky. Awe moves my thumb as songs flow through me, and write my imaginary lines, always this silence singing, utter and complete. The vastness expresses itself, sings itself, just like this. Sun slides through the tips of the pines and begins to bathe the clearing in dawn. Electric needles shimmering, vibrating outward, sky trembling, reaching inward, vibrant aliveness obscuring the imaginary lines between inside and out. And do you remember when you got up every morning and wondered if this indeed would be the day you would finally reach the summit of the mountain, the peak, the pinnacle of a lifetime of effort, a place always in the sun, a place of utter and complete rest, a place where your journey would finally end, because you had heard about this place, whispers and fairy tales, from strangers and passers-by, the great and the small, writing, singing of complete peace and perfection, and the end of striving, and, oh my, how you have been striving, desiring to stop desiring, reaching to stop reaching, seeking to stop seeking. And the roar of the mountain river and the winds soaring through the pines echoed your heart song and pierced you deeply. You were so tired of this endless path. You had only glimpses of the top, sometimes where the clouds seemed to part. And every sight or sound or thought or feeling seemed like a sign, a pointer on this treasure map of your life. Everything seemed to have a hidden meaning. It was all examined and judged. Am I doing it right or wrong? Is this helpful or harmful, good or bad? How am I? Where am I? When am I? Why am I? And one morning, as if by magic, the sun pierced your aching heart, and the agony of knowing you were not, one step closer to the elusive goal, stole your breath. And that's when the rains came. Mountain storms held at arm's reach for a lifetime, tsunamis of fear and despair and deep, deep sadness crushed you and unwove your fabric of dreams, of a life of total sun, of how you should be, of how life should be, of where you should be or were. And you watched amazed as your footfalls dissolved, as the path collapsed, as the ground collapsed, and you realized there never was a mountain, nor anyone to climb it, and you discover to your utter delight and amazement and indescribable joy and overwhelming awe that all you had been looking for was already always the case, and that the hinge pin to this idea of inside and outside is the uncaused discovery that there are no things. For what could not be perfect if there are no things, and what could not be peaceful if there are no edges nor split or division anywhere, and what could not be at utter rest if there are no things to be moving or non-moving. All these ideas of other, better, and more or next, or learned concepts to describe what cannot be described, or caught with words or thoughts. All division was imagined, made up. You are also nothing more or less than a concept, an idea that seemed to split apart this and that, the world and you. But it always has been life doing itself, the seamless, unknown vastness, and simultaneously the worded world, where there are mountains and paths and people to tread them, trying, aching to reach the summit. The dream moves, flows, and there is not even nothing outside it. You are the dream, not the dreamer. This is it, Coyote. Liquid Eyes of Love from my book, This Is It, Coyote. Tattooed with smiles and tears, nothing underneath my nakedness. No one wears the stars or sunlight dancing. Garden path has no wanderer. Echoes bloom. Thought weaves a thinker. Spider web catches the last light. Day falls into the cat's cradle of dark. Plunged into the sea of unknowing. Still, wind and light play on the surface. No overarching truth, only sky and sea, sun and moon and stars. No words can contain this light that has no questions or answers. No empty pages need be filled with the petals of today. Colors cascade down the canyon, echo on the walls, slide into your footsteps. Sing these flowers blooming, dance these winds through your shadow, explode your very heart that the ink washed through, that wrote the tales of last summer's love songs, that etched your twirling silhouette into sky. This sensuous lostness of wind and sun and sky, soaring, skinless, bathed with color and primordial melodies that sing these very words, walking through morning, light pours me, inside out, pirouette of mirrors, love recognizes itself, infinite facets of my own reflection, eviscerate the illusion of solidity. This clear fluidity drinks me. I soar through this vast, unknowable unknown without wings or any place to land. No words. So many words. Spring blossoms and falls, scattering velvet petals among our footfalls that no one can follow or grasp or trace. Even memory flows along the river that we drowned in long ago, far away, when we lost the belief that we were unchanging. Wind sings our name. Our name is love. It beckons us. It is us. It's a bittersweet, beautiful melancholy. Time, life, sadness, joy, awe, happen for no one, to no one. Yet I am here, sobbing. Emptiness a word to try to swallow the ocean, consciousness another to try to calm the sea, truth an idea, an imaginary port on these edgeless waters, God a concept to try to hide your naked aloneness, the ever-looming horizon. Sunset beckons. I see your broken-hearted beauty, through these eyes that are not mine, through these lips, these teeth, this tongue. These words that we share sing themselves. This edgeless momentary that burns itself is the fire of your aliveness, slipstream of life. Wind, my empty breath, flower of moon, falls through this open hand. Drinking deeply this softness, falling petals paint the tapestry of wind, flowing through itself. Glass casts its own shadow, illuminates your reflection, dissolves as you swallow life as it swallows you. Wind blows, hearts beat and break, rain and tears fall, gathering in pools of and the moon rises and shadows of memory flow across the leaf-scattered path that no one followed, that no one danced upon. Yet you find yourself dancing with the darkness and the sliver of ancient moon, the garden a stage where we seem to meet in the birth of night touching day, in between sky. We no longer look for shadows under the wind's gathering of leaves from autumn. No more dreams to burn. Winter clothes itself with tears. Its nakedness reaches up through the long silence. Love melts the shadows of ice crystals flowing. The darkness was never empty nor full. You could no longer hide from your own shadow or your own beautiful reflection. It burnt its name in your heart that you treasured for a while, until the vastness claimed itself. Spring grew into summer and time flowed back into and through itself. Where is the beginning and end of sky, when sky is your nakedness, your aloneness, the majesty that no one wears? Drowned, dissolved as the sea of edgeless beauty, my sourceless reflection soars over the billowing ripples of love's sacred melody, echoing the heartbeat of one, of two, of many, of none. Under this rainbow garment of a poet's song, behind these liquid eyes of love, beneath this naked, unadorned, sky-like wonder, there is not even nothing at all. There is not something inside us which loves so deeply. It is who we are. You don't have wonder. You are wonder itself. You don't know beauty. You are beauty itself. You can't know love. You are love itself.